And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed. To you it shall be for food. Genesis 1:29. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. Psalm 78:25. Everyday Manna with Lisa.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Everyday Manna. Today we are going to be making some appetizers. You know, sometimes you just want a quick bite of something, or you want to have something easy and ready to go at a moment's notice for whoever may be hungry. And so these are some things that you could do any day of the week. And honestly, I mean, you could really make a meal off of, like this one that we're getting ready to make, the pepperoni mini muffins. You know, add a salad to it and you've got dinner. Have several of the meals, a light supper. So let's get started. We're going to start with pepperoni mini muffins. Now, I love like pepperoni pizza or pepperoni calzones, pepperoni anything. I love pepperoni. So I thought, why can we not make that into a little bite-size appetizer, snack bite muffin kind of thing? So what you'll need are some mini muffin tins. Now, if you don't have the mini muffin tins, you can use a regular muffin tin. Just know that your cooking time will be increased, and our oven is preheated to 350 degrees. So in this bowl, I have some all-purpose flour, and I'm gonna add some baking soda to that, and then some grated Parmesan cheese. And I'm just gonna kind of stir those things together. This is so easy. It really is just kind of mix and dump kind of recipe. I've got a cup of milk and 1 egg, and I'm gonna beat the egg just a little bit before I add it to the milk. I'm gonna incorporate it totally into the milk before I add the milk to the flour mixture. This is just a basic muffin recipe to start with some cheese added. Add the milk. I don't like to add it all at once. I like to add a little bit and then maybe half, and then stir that together, and then add the rest. Now that's 1 egg and some milk. You can double this recipe if you want to make more little muffins. It's quite a wet batter, but that's okay. That's what we want. Now, of course, you could add to this, if you wanted to add like some grated onion. Think of toppings that you like for pizza. And whatever you like in your pizza, you could add to this. We're just kind of going for plain pepperoni at the moment. Set that aside. Now, I could not find stick pepperoni, so I'm just using sliced pepperoni. If you have the stick pepperoni, you know, you can use that and you know, just chop it up. But I'm just going to use these regular slices. I'm going to get a smaller stack here, and I'm just going to dice it. It is a little easier if you have the stick. Just going to dice that into, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch size cubes. Just stack some of them. You want about 1/2 cup. Depends on how much pepperoni you like. I always order double pepperoni on my pizzas, so that ought to tell you something. We like pepperoni at my house. You could use turkey pepperoni if you wanted to. Would be perfectly fine. I like the turkey pepperoni myself. I think it's good. Now, kind of, because those are slices, they sort of stick together. I like to separate them a little bit. And I'm going to incorporate about 1/2 of that. Stir that in to kind of make sure it gets evenly distributed, and then I'll add the rest. Let me get my little scooper. I get asked so much about this. This is actually a baking tool. It's called a bench scraper, but I love it for moving food from one location to another location if you've got chopped food. And there's your batter, complete. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt, not much, maybe 1/2 teaspoon. I'm just getting a pinch. And then some freshly ground pepper, because I like it in mine. Something else would be really good in here is really finely ground up fennel seeds, or I have fennel powder that I use a lot at home, which is just fennel seeds that are just ground up till they're a powder. I love fennel powder on top of many different things. Now, we're going to just put this batter in our muffin tins. Just fill them about 3/4 of the way full. Ever so often, because that pepperoni may settle to the bottom. So you might want to just go in, you know, every 3 or 4 batters and kind of, or spoonfuls, and just sort of stir it up a dot bit, just a little more, because sometimes the weight of that pepperoni will make it settle. And you want to make sure you get some pepperoni in each little bite. These are so good. And they're a good thing for like a quick snack after school. I know my kids, for you moms and dads out there who have children, when they get home from school, they are famished. They are starving. So they have to have a snack. And this is a really good, quick little after-school snack too. So we're just going to spoon these in and clean up that batter that drips. It's okay, that happens. If you wanted to add a little more cheese on top before you bake it, you totally could. And as a matter of fact, I think I will, because you just can't have too much Parmesan cheese, in my opinion. That's my favorite cheese. I love it. You could use Romano if you wanted to, or you could even use shredded up mozzarella if you wanted to. Your choice. So we're just going to spoon this in. And I am making a mess. What's new? This will make 24 muffins. Little mini muffins. And last one. Oven is 350 degrees. They need to bake for about 20 minutes. And you will have just the most delicious little muffin bites. I like to take a paper towel and just clean up the edges. I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to make, you know, get it on the edges, unless you just are perfect. And I don't know anybody that could do this without getting it on. And you want to just kind of wipe that up, because it will burn if you don't. So just take a paper towel. And you can sprinkle again, if you want to add some extra cheese on top, you can. I'm going to take a quick break. I am going to sprinkle just a dot of a little bit of the extra Parmesan cheese on top and get them in the oven. And they're going to bake for 20 minutes. And when I come back, we are going to make a quick and easy Spanish roll. I'll be back in just a second. All right, now all I did was sprinkle a little extra Parmesan cheese on those pepperoni muffins, and they are baking in the oven. And so we're going to get started on a Spanish roll. Now, I have here a dozen of the just roll, you know, mini little roll things that you buy in the bread section of the grocery store. And I'm going to take a serrated knife. Now be careful. And I'm going to cut these in half, because the ones that I got are not split already. So be careful. Then take the top off. Place the bottom in a baking dish, just, you know, large enough that they will set comfortably in. And just set those to the side for a minute. Set these to the side. And then in this bowl, I've got 16 ounces of cheddar cheese. Now I am going to, and I just have a blend of different cheeses. I am going to take out a little bit just to sprinkle on the top. And then just leave that there. I'm going to add a little bit of oil canola oil or vegetable oil, some tomato sauce. This is very easy recipe, very easy recipe. Some garlic. And then some green olives, just sliced green olives. You could use black olives if you wanted, or whatever kind of olives you like. And then a can of the diced green chilies. I'm gonna stir all that together. Whoops, one more ingredient here. Now, you wanna add some grated onion, about 2 tablespoons or so of grated onion. And I've got some done because honestly it makes me cry, but I wanted to show you how to grate an onion for those of you that might not know. You want about, 2 or 3 tablespoons, however much you want to add. Take your onion and peel it, and then use some kind of a grater. You could use a box grater if you don't have one of these little handheld ones. Watch your fingers, and then just take the onion over top. And what that does is that grates it really fine, because honestly, you're not gonna be able to mince it this fine. If you don't have a box grater or one of these little handhelds, you could mince it. That would be fine. Just make sure you get it really fine, because you don't want to bite into a raw hunk of onion. And these are not going to be in the oven very long. Just get it all off of there. Plus, when you grate it, you get those wonderful onion juices too that taste so good. And now you want to stir all this together. Get it all mixed up. I'm not adding any salt because the olives are salty and the tomato sauce is salty. So you don't need to add any extra salt. You could add some pepper if you wanted to, and I do. Freshly grated. I don't like pre-ground pepper. If you watch my show, you know that. I just much prefer the freshly grated pepper. And then, this is how hard this is now. All you're gonna do, I sprayed this, by the way, with nonstick spray. You are gonna spread this all over those rolls. This would be a hit at a party or a church potluck supper. You know how they have those potluck dinners? This is so easy. Now the rolls that I'm using are the ones that are the sweet rolls, but you could use any kind of roll you like. And then it's gonna seep out and it's gonna melt. That's why we have it in a baking dish that can hold it, because I don't want it to, get all over the oven. Just top it with the other half of your roll halves. And if you want to drizzle it with just a tiny bit of olive oil, you can. Now this step you don't have to do. You could just put that cheese in the middle and stop there. And the reason that I put a little olive oil on there is so that the cheese will have something to stick to. So I just brush it. You could use melted butter too if you wanted to. And then take the reserved cheese that I held out and put that on top, because that just adds another layer of flavor. And this cheese will melt, but it will also get kind of golden and so good. And then this just needs to bake about 15-20 minutes until the cheese inside melts up so good. So let's get this in the oven down below or up above actually, our mini muffin tins. You don't have to cover it or anything. See, our muffins are baking away. Same temperature, 350 degrees, and just let that bake until it's done. These are recipes, honestly, you could just have the ingredients on hand. I mean, most of the time you have these things on hand, and you could just whip this up you know, at a moment's notice, maybe you've got some unexpected company and you want to serve a little something. I mean, that's, you know, here in the South, we just kind of think it's one of those things that, you know, you offer people something to eat when they come to your house. I know when you know, my father was living and anybody would come over, that was one of the first questions he would ask. Did you eat yet? Are you hungry? Can I get you something to eat? I mean, it's just one of those things that I think, especially in the South, I've lived in the North and in the South. I was actually born in the North, and I find it definitely more a Southern thing that we offer people food. But anyway, no matter where you are in the world, you want to be hospitable to your company. So these are just quick and easy recipes that you could get together, put together in a moment's notice, pop them in the oven, and there you go. I'm going to take a quick break, clean up, and when I come back, we're going to make a wonderful, easy, quick recipe using some frozen puff pastry. I'll be back in just a minute. All right, now our Spanish rolls are baking, our pepperoni mini muffins are baking, they're almost done. And now we're going to get started on a blue cheese palmier. And it sounds fancy, but it's so easy. In the freezer department of your grocery store, usually where they sell like the Cool Whip and the frozen fruit and that kind of thing, the pies and so on, you can get puff pastry frozen. And that's what this is. And it'll come like this, 2 of them in a package. And just thaw it, unfold it, and then take your fingers and or a rolling pin and kind of press those seams together. That's all I'm doing here. I've got a floured board because I don't want it to stick to the board. And I'm kind of just pressing it out just a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. And that's good. And see, the flour keeps it from sticking to the board, which is what you want. Now, in the food processor, I have 1 block of cream cheese that has come to room temperature. I'm going to add some garlic, some blue cheese crumbles. If you don't like blue cheese, you could add, you know, gorgonzola or really any kind of cheese that you like. Got a cheese theme going on today, but I adore blue cheese, so I'm going to add that. And then some crumbled up bacon. Well, let me get this mixed first. And then, now the cheese is salty, so you don't need to add any salt. In a food processor, just kind of let it go till it all blends together. About 30 seconds will do it. Now, let's see. Yep, see how smooth and creamy? Let me show you. That is, that's exactly what you want. Now, we're going to crumble in about ½ a pound of bacon, minus 1 piece because I ate it. Just crumble it in there. I just cooked it in the microwave on a paper towel. You could use turkey bacon if you wanted. Just kind of crumble it in there. One of my favorite foods. Love it. Absolutely love bacon. I like turkey bacon too. And then we're just going to pulse that just to kind of add that in. You don't want to chop that up too fine. You just want to kind of... Now my food processor, there it went that piece, has a pulse button. And that's all there is to it. That's very easy. Take out your blade. Be careful. If you don't have a food processor, you by all means could use a little hand mixer. It's just a little easier in a food processor. Watch your fingers though, because those things are sharp. And then you want to take half of this and spread it on your puffed pastry, either using a little butter knife or an offset spatula, either one. This is a butter knife, for those of you that don't know. If you want to use that, you can. Or an offset spatula. I like the offset spatula a little bit better. And you just want to take about half that mixture. And then spread it on your puff pastry. This is thick. You might even have to help it with your fingers. That's okay. And just spread it out. You don't want to go, you know what? I am going to use my fingers. My hands are clean. I just washed them. This is wanting to stick, so I need to put a little flour on there. There we go. Flour your fingers if you need to. You want to put it about all over, up to maybe 1/2 inch from the edges. Use whatever tool you need. This seems to be working the best today. I want to make sure that bacon gets all spread out. That seems to be a clump of bacon right there. A little more. And then about 1/2 inch to the edges. It doesn't matter if it's not perfectly spread because we're going to roll it up. You just want to have a thin layer on everything. Get your oven preheated to 400 degrees. And then once you get it spread out there, roll it from, it's a square, so whatever side you want to start at. You just want to roll it. Now, the way I like to do it is I roll it about halfway and stop, and then start on the other side and roll it and meet it in the middle. Or, I'm just going to show you both ways. We'll do it either way. It doesn't really matter. Just roll it all the way up. And you'll just have the traditional rounds. Now, take this, a serrated knife will work the best. Watch your fingers. Cut off the very edge because that doesn't have any filling in it. I'm just going to show you how to do one and then I'll do the other one. Cut off to where you don't know it. Now, about 1/2 inch with a serrated blade. Well, no, wait a minute. Better do this part first. Take 1 egg. Not forget this part. You don't want to forget this part. Take a brush and go all over with a beaten egg mixed with like 1 tablespoon of water. This will help it to be golden. That's the only purpose of this. And it will help those edges to stick and seal if you unfold it like this. If you're doing it the other way, you know, do both edges, and that just helps it to seal. And then take your knife, about 1/2 inch pieces, and lay them flat on your board. You could chill this for about 20 minutes if you wanted to. Now the puff pastry is going to expand. So leave, you know, about 1 inch or so in between. And I like to do it on parchment because it keeps them from sticking, and honestly, cleanup couldn't be simpler. You just throw that parchment paper away. Not wax paper, parchment paper. Wax paper is not safe to put in the oven. Made that mistake one time a long time ago, thinking I could substitute. No. You will want to use like 1 baking sheet pan per roll, and there's 2 rolls in each package of puff pastry. And just put them down on the board. And they're going to bake up golden and beautiful and delicious. Puff pastry is one of those things that is very, very versatile. You can make sweet desserts, you can make savory desserts. It's really a great topper for anything. Pies, from apple pie to pot pies, like beef or chicken pot pie, anything like that. 400 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes, depending. We'll look at it. I'm going to just fix this other one, and when I come back, we're just going to wrap up this program, and then we're going to eat. All righty, now everything is done. And here are the Spanish rolls, and you can see why we wanted to put them in a container, because the cheese melted out. Now, this is not pick-me-up food. This is you need a plate, because that cheese is melty and gooey and so good. I just want to show you, I'm going to give you a peek inside. Look inside at that gooey wonderfulness. And see, I sprinkled that cheese on top with the little olive oil, because see how it just kind of caramelizes and browns up that cheese, and that is just divine. And here are our wonderful little pepperoni bites. Same thing, the little edges, by sprinkling some on the top, you get those little crispy bits like that one, this, and oh, so good. And then our wonderful little blue cheese Palmiers. I turn them over. When you take them out of the oven, this is what they're going to look like. But when you turn them over, the bottom part is where it gets all golden brown. So I would serve them bottom side up. And there you go. Some quick and easy recipes for you to try any time of the day. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time on Everyday Manna.
Thank you for watching Everyday Manna with Lisa. This program is made possible by viewers like you. Your support is continually needed to keep Christian programming on the air. Please send your best financial gift to Living Faith Television in care of Everyday Manna, P.O. Box 1867, Abingdon, Virginia 24212.